Hello again. This week more work was done on the engine replacement for a Nissan. We get further along on our Isuzu Trooper project, and an Audi came in with an 02 code. We'll let you know what we found and what we did to repair it. We had an Audi come in with a 2188 code, which is a rich condition, and most people with their code readers would put in an 02 sensor thinking that's what the problem was. But the reality is the 02 is doing its job. It's reading a rich condition. You need to figure out what the problem could be. So, one of the suspects could be a leaking fuel injector, would be a good example. But in this case, I called a very good friend of mine at the Northern Virginia Community College, Gary Ferris, and he explained to me that a common problem with these on the Audis was the high pressure fuel pump, which is driven by the camshaft at the back of the engine, gets an internal leak in the pump where an O-ring is, and it starts emitting gas into the crankcase mixed with the oil. So after he told me that, I went out to the car, took the oil cap off, and sure enough, it smelled like gas. So this is the old pump that the students took off. We put the new one on, and the car's been running fine ever since. So here's some footage of the students doing that job.
Getting the line loose from the bottom of the pump was the more difficult part of the job. The old one is out, and the new one's ready to go in. With the gas-saturated oil, an oil change was necessary. Another successful repair.
The procedure for replacing the half shafts in this isuzu is to drop the rear and pull the axle out from the differential. Another procedure is to disassemble the inner CV joint and then rebuild it within the vehicle. We chose to just simply put on outer CV boot kits as that was the only part that was damaged and needed to be replaced. So we did it that way, saved us a little bit of time, and it's still going to be a good repair.
Taking the joint apart will make it easier to clean up and inspect. You can see by the ease of which I'm moving this ball joint around that it's pretty shot, so we're going to be replacing all of these as well. Yep.
Now do the other corner, other corner, other corner. Is it?
This is one of the typical lock nuts that came with the ball joints. You can see it's oval. But this particular one here has been crimped in off to the one side. It's been machined that way, or machine pressed it that way. And I really like this form of lock nut. There's no way this one's ever going to back off.
With the differential back together, I'm pulling the axle seals.
Getting the axle flanges cleaned up in preparation of the new seals and the axles when we're ready to put them back in. Using a seal driver to install the new seals into the axle. With the drivetrain ready to go back into the vehicle, the students are lowering the car to mate the two back together.
That's good.
With the drivetrain suspended, the students can remove the cart and then start putting in all of the mounts. Here the students are using pole jacks to get the drivetrain in line to get the mounts positioned.
Up.
Now the cradle can go into position.
This way a bit.
Next time on Bulldog Builds, with the engine back in place on the road, we'll be ready to fire it up and take it for a test drive. We'll show you how we're going to get these stubborn axles out of the hub assemblies on our Isuzu Trooper project, and we'll get back to work on the pedal car, getting it ready for the competition at the end of March in Cleveland. See you next week.